Welcome to the first in this series of videos detailing the secrets of combat within Final Fantasy XVI, and in today's video we're going to be unraveling the secrets of the Firebird itself, Phoenix. Let's learn all of the intricate techniques, the strategic moments to deploy Phoenix abilities, and the impact it can have on your survival. Get ready to witness the power of Rebirth and the true potential of Phoenix. Let's soar together on wings of fire. The first ability that we're going to discuss in this video is going to be Phoenix Shift, the primary ability of the Phoenix icon. Using AP to master most skills of an icon ordinarily allows you to equip that ability onto another icon. However, with primary abilities like Phoenix Shift, you can only use those with that icon equipped. Shift allows you to dash in quickly to an opponent regardless of whether they're in the air or on land, and can be activated on land or in the air, making for an easy go-to button to press when you want to close a gap quickly. Pressing square after Phoenix Shift will start a basic combo, while pressing triangle will give a magic shot that will slam lighter enemies from the air downwards or lift those same enemies from the ground up. Slamming an enemy into the ground with Shift Shot can be cancelled into Torgal's Perfect Sick. Upgrading Phoenix Shift increases the distance it can travel, and, like Lunge, should be upgraded as sooner rather than later. From the start of the game all the way to the very end, I never unequipped Phoenix simply for this ability. Its maneuverability and lock-on aspects made it invaluable, particularly after a stagger or against aerial targets like hornets or small worms that like to move around a lot. You can also use the basic skill Lunge to achieve a similar dash, but it doesn't have the auto-targeting for vertical movement like Phoenix Shift does, making it a brilliant opener for big combos from a distance. S rank. Next up we have Rising Flames, a simple attack with a 20-second cooldown, making it one of the fastest cooldowns in the game. Rising Flame strikes upwards with a Phoenix wing, launching lighter enemies into the air, allowing for follow-ups, particularly when timed with Torgal cancels. It isn't the most exciting, flashy, or powerful move in the game, but due to its low cooldown it makes for a very effective early game attack. Upgrading Rising Flame simply increases the number of hits on it by adding a plume of fire to the end, and therefore the damage and wheel damage that it deals, so if it's something that you use regularly it warrants the upgrade. I found that I removed Rising Flames fairly quickly after acquiring other abilities, but I certainly wouldn't say it was bad. B rank. Next up we have Scarlet Cyclone, an AoE attack with a 30-second cooldown that's likely to be your first example of an area attack in Final Fantasy XVI. It also has a special property in that if it's activated after you've been hit, it increases in power and shortens its cooldown by a third. Upgrading Scarlet Cyclone once again simply increases the number of hits on it, and therefore the amount of damage it deals. Scarlet Cyclone deals a solid amount of will damage, enabling staggers quicker, but I personally felt that it was superseded by other area attacks from other icons like Wicked Wheel or Pile Drive, as the unique effect of Scarlet Cyclone just didn't prove too useful to me, as I would rather avoid taking damage than take damage in order to increase the amount of damage I dealt back. C rank. Following on from that, we then have Heatwave, a ranged attack with a 25-second cooldown that has a particularly noteworthy special property. After an enemy uses a projectile attack, you can catch it with Heatwave and double the number of shockwaves that are sent from it, dealing solid amounts of damage and will damage whilst also dispelling the projectile, making it an extremely potent defensive tool as well as offensive. Upgrading Heatwave doubles the number of shockwaves from 1 to 2 on a normal attack and 2 to 4 on a counter attack. I found Heatwave extremely useful for a very large portion of the game, as not only is it an ability I can throw out without worry, it being ranged, not to mention Torgal cancelable, but it's also nullified a surprising number of attacks, even from bosses, and I only took this ability off near the end of the game once I felt that its damage just wasn't living up to that of endgame abilities. A rank. Finally, we have Flames of Rebirth, Phoenix's ultimate skill with a 2-minute cooldown. This is a smart bomb of sorts, dealing damage to everything in a wide radius while also recovering any regenerable health you might have, namely the faded portion of HP you have after you've been hit. Flames of Rebirth can prove to be an extremely effective method of farming low-level enemies by killing them all in one hit, and if you wish to use it this way, you may want to consider equipping the Breath of Fire accessory gained through the story, which reduces its cooldown by a full 12 seconds. Using most ultimate attacks, including this one, freezes everything on the screen except for Clive, making them extremely useful for multiple reasons. You can use this to reduce the cooldown of your other abilities while the attack plays out, and also using this attack during a stagger while your damage multiplier is increased, or using it to increase your damage multiplier. You don't have the fear of the stagger gauge running out as it slows down while this attack plays out. Another interesting mechanic with this ability, and one that's worth noting for other skills as well, is the ability to use your limit break to cancel out of the animation in order to continue your combo while some of the flames still linger. Limit break cancelling is a technique worth knowing for many skills that I'll cover in future videos. I invested in Flames of Rebirth fairly late into the game and wished that I had done so much earlier due to its ability to take out trash mobs quickly and efficiently. I didn't use Flames of Rebirth at the very end of the game, but it's worth obtaining this early as it's useful not only for farming mobs but also in boss fights as something you can use after they're staggered, in no small part due to being one of the only abilities in the game that heals you outside of Torgal's regen, A rank. Before we continue, don't forget to check out all of my social links in the description box below, including Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon. Over on Twitch, I'm streaming a ton of Final Fantasy XVI, so if you have any questions about anything I've stated in this video or any of my other Final Fantasy XVI content, you're more than welcome to come and discuss it with me over on Twitch. It'd be lovely to hang out with you. And of course, I do always give a shout out to one of my patrons every time I release a new video over from Patreon, and today that person is going to be Boopar Wiggum, who has Zell as their title card. Thank you ever so much for supporting the channel, and to all of my patrons for doing so. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you very much. Now, Phoenix is actually unique as an icon in that he shares some of his abilities with those gained from Ifrit, the other icon of fire. But we shall cover Ifrit and Limit Break, which you gain around the same time as Ifrit, in a separate video. When it comes to the general gameplay using Phoenix, there isn't a huge amount of tech or complex mechanics due to the simplicity of the moves present in the skill set, which is a good thing considering you start the game with Phoenix. Suffice to say you'll want to employ an aggressive playstyle when using it, as the name of the game with this icon is simply just to keep attacking, even when you're being attacked yourself thanks to the special properties that moves like Heatwave or Scarlet Cyclone provide, as well as the healing factor from Flames of Rebirth. Phoenix does a really good job of teaching you the basics of the game, with abilities that you'll continue to use as the game progresses, even as you've mastered them. Sometimes simplicity is the best course of action, and for that, Phoenix can do no wrong. Some of Phoenix's abilities fall off later in the game, and for later bosses, none of the abilities outside of Flames of Rebirth provide high base damage nor high hit counts to increase multipliers during a stagger, but by the time you need to worry about that, you'll have other abilities at your disposal to capitalise on this. In terms of how much I actually used Phoenix throughout the game, as I said earlier, I never unequipped Phoenix just due to how useful Phoenix Shift turned out to be, and therefore never felt the need to use AP to master any of the skills from Phoenix in order to equip them onto other icons. The loadout I typically used for Phoenix almost always included Heatwave and frequently contained Flames of Rebirth once I'd acquired it, but was a lovely testing ground for the abilities I had mastered from other icons, as it meant I could keep hold of Phoenix Shift while experimenting with new toys. Considering that Phoenix is the first icon you acquire in Final Fantasy XVI, and the fact that I felt no need to ever remove it, I would consider Phoenix to be one of the best icons in the game, and because of that, I couldn't give Phoenix anything lower than an S rank. What do you think of Phoenix? Does dashing around the arena with fiery abandon appeal to you? Is getting up in the enemy's face your playstyle? I will say, and it's important to note, that I believe all of the icons in this game are viable for one reason or another, and all of the things that I'm stating in this video are opinions, and therefore not to be taken as fact. Something I thought that we could do with these videos is I thought that by giving the various icons in the game a score, we could in fact rank the icons based on how they've scored in these videos. Now, with Phoenix being the first icon that we're covering in this video, he's obviously atop the mountain on his own, but with an S rank that we've already given him, he's going to be quite a difficult icon to topple for the rest of the cast. But what do you think? Do you reckon that Phoenix can be toppled by the other icons? And with that, that is the complete guide to Phoenix. Is there anything that I might have missed about Phoenix that you've discovered in your travels in Final Fantasy XVI? Let me know in the comments below. Are there any other icons that you want for me to cover in these video series? Then let me know down below as well. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications on any future videos on Final Fantasy XVI or any other games that I might be making. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.